Hello, everyone. How are you doing? Good to see you. As he says, as he searches desperately to see where he's at. How are you doing? Well, I don't know if you're hanging out with me on Saturday night or not, but give me 1 second here. I've got like two different screens going. There we go. Hey, there's two of us in here tonight. Hey, 10. All right, I misspoke too early. Hey, how you doing? Thought I'd just put up a show tonight, and we haven't had a chance just to where we hang out. Anton, good to see you. Mr. Sean, good to see you. Mark, slightly slanted truth, how you doing? Mercury 7, good to see you. Hey, good to see everyone. So thought I'd just come by and say, how you doing? And do one of the things that I enjoy doing is maybe going through some of the headlines, and maybe we all could just talk about it because it is getting weird. Now, I'm going to be doing are you feeling seasick yet? Huh? Well, it's good to see everyone. Don't you just hate it when you get a guy that's behind the wheel and you're going, hey, cut it out. So anyway, how's everyone doing? How's everything in your part of the world? There's 78 of us. So by the way, tonight is the Bengal spice tea. So hope your coffee or tea as well, or other libations as to whatever they may be. Hi, everyone. Bartman, Robin, good to see y'all. Dean, well, welcome. So here we are, planet Earth. And I was going through some of these headlines today, and I said, I got to do a show about this. I mean, we can come together as a group and talk about it. But, it's like when you go through the week's headlines and you go, what were they thinking? Or better yet, what are we thinking? We have a time in our lives where everything is contradicting everything. Case in point. So throughout the 70s, the public service commercials that were put out were always of the Indian, the Native American, who was going through, I think it was the New York Bay or the river up there, and it was full of pollution. And of course, it was to make us mindful that we were killing our planet. What we're going to see today in a headline is, so we achieved the goal, and now apparently the goal is actually, turns out, isn't good for us. So hello again to everyone. Deborah, good to see you. Thank you, all the moderators tonight. Thank you for taking the time to come out. And so I told you I won't make this a boring night for us. So let's hit right to some of the headlines. Here we go. Growing number of young children dying of the flu. I must have seen today at least 6-7 headlines in other publications. On our local news tonight, every one of the news stations were carrying the story of the flu. And here, one station was running the story about how this strain of flu, this influenza, now the rhinovirus we know can stay alive on surfaces much longer than what we had ever realized. Then you get the influenza virus, which this one seems to be of particular, how should we say, robust, maybe? That might be a word. And it's literally killing people. And this one seems to attack the young victims. Now, this is not good. Influenza will typically attack the very young, and these are typically under 3, and those that are aged typically above 75. Well, now it's hitting across a broad spectrum, but really getting serious with teenagers and young adults. So here they were telling everyone to wash your winter gear. Now, you would think that wearing gloves would protect your hands from germs, which they do. But we never stop and think that the germs actually are living now on the glove. So, moral to the story was, wash your gloves at least once a week. Scarves, those type of things, anything that touches the mouth, mucous membranes of the nose, anything like that should be washed as frequently as could, because they can actually, apparently, I didn't know this, can stay alive for a very long period of time. Who knew? So I thought that one was just something that, and they're still recommending that people get the flu vaccine. Now, maybe it's just me. Okay. Just me. I don't know. But if you got the vaccine, why are so many people getting sick? Again, these are the things that make you go, All right, here we go. NASA, Earth's poles are tipping thanks to climate change. All right. This one you have to just stop and allow cognitive reasoning to seep in, just in the headlines alone. So what came first here? The poles tipping or the climate change? I mean, is the climate change a result because the poles are tipping, or they're not saying that the poles are tipping because of the climate change? I mean, the climate changes all the time. And this is how they do the mind coitus. So here, they're admitting the poles are tipping. Now, I'm going to have on next Friday night Dr. Albers again and Scott Sion of Planet X News. Again, Dr. Miller. And there's a number of other people that are coming up. What I'm trying to point to this, folks, is here's an admission that the poles are tipping. Now, we are in the middle of a pole shift. Definitely a magnetic pole shift. We're going to have what Brenda has been doing, some fabulous research. I'm going to be doing a complete live show on that one. The evidence is overwhelming and conclusive. Our planet is shifting. And is it a cascading effect? It appears to be. And it appears that this is not going to stop until it reaches its inevitable conclusion. What does it mean for us? I don't know. But we're going to see more and more of this. Well, here's one. We're going to be talking about this a little bit later. This is the 2-mile long Mariman, and is the second largest geoglyph in the world. But nobody knows who made it. Now, this story is relevant because the video I did, the 39 first of recorded history, clearly shows that there's something wrong. We get a pickup of the story 6,500 years ago, right? And those are the tablets. And those tablets are problematic for all the world religions. I got to tell you what, I've had just a number of people that just, well, it's just hard for them to accept. You know, if your God isn't in the tablets, and the tablets were made from the very point where your story starts, what's going on? Right? It's like, So anyway, let's get back to here. Now, this is in South Australia. Now, Australia is still one of the most unique places, continents on the planet. My wife was showing me a picture of what they call the blue tarantula. And y'all should look at that up. Google it and check it out. Go to the Great Oracle. And as you bow down to make homage and type in, the Great Oracle will reveal to you all your knowledge that you seek. I know it's just messing with you, but it's true. Anyway, so quite unique, huh? I don't know. There it is again. Look at that. So what are we dealing with here? Could it be that before us, there was a race of giants, and that reality, because it was so far ago, long ago, that the whispers of the imagery of that time has seeped into all of our lore for our species? It would appear that that is the case. So, yeah, just thought you'd like to check that out. All right. Another thing they're finding out. You know, we look out into the cosmos trying to figure out where we stand in the whole scheme of things. And then we put more and more satellites, more and more devices that is mapping, tracking, imaging everything, everywhere, including our planet. And what we're realizing is that we really don't know our planet at all. I don't know. I hear a Judy Collins song in there somewhere. Anyway, again, when you begin to read these stories, it's quite fascinating that it now appears the whole down through Mexico, and you get through the Yucatan Peninsula, and that whole region in there is just filled with a plethora of caves, tunnels, all underwater now. And it makes you wonder about this civilization of the Mayans. There's so much we don't know about our own races that have been here and disappeared. I don't know who's fashioned the story, but I think the gig is up for them. And there's people like us, all of us in this room. We all know it, you know. It's like, hey, you know, they're saying, oh, well, we can't tell the masses this. They'll just freak out. And we're like, really? Well, we've known from the beginning, but, you know, when you come to that reality that you think you're ready to let us know, we're here. So anyway. Interesting. This one, now I'm going to tell you, I'm going to give you what my take is on this. Now, I don't know about the frilly corset type thing, but you know, you look at many cultures today, robes for men, very common attire. Kilts, you know, lederhosens, you know. But I just looked at this and I said, well, maybe it's just the evolution on an already existing design and custom. Anyway, now, I mean, it's not quite my taste. I don't quite like the shiny. Um, but anyway, uh, here you go. Drinking tea makes people more creative. Well, we knew that all along, didn't we? Hey, cheers. I just thought of an idea. Anyway, and it's just a half a cup, you know? Now, I love Bengal spice. Happen to think that it is like really a good mixture. Now, here's what I found interesting. Mick Jagger, Albert Einstein, C.S. Lewis are all famous tea drinkers. Hey, Jean-Luc Picard, Earl Grey. So, yeah. Now, the thing that I question here, does the same benefit come to iced tea? I mean, because I drink a lot of iced tea. In the South, it's a staple. I mean, you have beer, tea, and water. So, anyway, yeah. They didn't say in here about whether it's just the hot tea, but you can't have iced tea until you actually had hot tea, right? So there you go. Maybe that's a new revelation for all of us. This one just freaks me out. I keep telling you, folks, these are like the tendrils of John Carpenter's movie, The Thing. It's got all the tendrils are ever reaching into the crevices of the reality of our privacy. In essence, those that already have them because it's so cool, computer. Everybody wanted that. It's the Star Trek thing, the computers do all the thinking. Well, in order for them to do all the thinking and for them to be accessible to you at all the time, it means they have to be, let's say, open all the time in the most private of situations. I never saw that, by the way, in Star Trek, particularly in the Next Generations, right? Because the computer's everywhere. Well, maybe they just got to the place of consciousness where, well, privacy is just merely an illusion. Ponder this. So maybe we're just bringing the ultimate reality of God into our bedrooms. I mean, because if you take the concept, we have no privacy anyway. There's someone watching us, watching you in those most, how shall we say, private moments. So now, is this any difference? I mean, there's spirits all around us. So technically, we have no privacy anyway. And if this is AI, well, it's going to eventually get in anyway. So there you go. Bet you weren't expecting that for a little bit of the Steiger perspective on Thursday nights on the Artists Live for Artists First network. But think about this. I mean, I have, Apple, iPhone. I've turned Siri off, but I don't know if that's really off. It tells me it's off, but I don't know. Siri has come alive when she's supposed to be off. I love to see what you guys are talking about. I can't see the comments because I'm reading the stories, but oh no, another story. So we were just talking about the eventuality of the tendrils coming into our most private of moments, and there would be no private moments, but does it really matter? Because I'm about to do another story on top of this story that will show us that, well, they see you anyway. You step out the door, bam, gotcha. Turn on your car, bam, gotcha. Turn on your cell phone, bam, gotcha. Now, everything is being watched. Yeah. All right. Ex-Google CEO very concerned Russia and China may rule the world with AI. Gee, Eric, you think you might have thought about that before you built the beast? I'm just saying. Now you're telling us this? Russia and China. Maybe what Eric is more concerned is their AI is bigger than our AI. I mean, seriously. So here's the scenario. I thought about this, right? By the way, this is one of the things that I think is going to push our species completely through the transhumanism evolution. But here's the point. It's everywhere. And if AI is everywhere, who's making the synaptic pathways? Who's actually the one that's actually all the rest are beholden to? I don't know. But you know, if Eric says that he's concerned, it might be something we all need to be concerned about. I don't know. All right. Got to bring this up because, you know, this is part of the illusion. When we get so adaptive to looking at things and not recognize them, we often find out. And the reason why this story, it's not the political part of this. What I'm bringing out about this story, it shows how easily manipulated you and I are. Very easily manipulated. And that becomes a problem because when you begin to make cognitive decisions that impact your life, your family's life, everything, and you make it based upon manufactured information that is skewed from the get-go, they could have devastating impact. And that's why I say many times, we look back that the future is really dictating the past. That was just a strange one. Well, how about this one? Boy, I mean, here we go. Let's have another drink on this one. The Doomsday Clock is now 2 minutes to midnight. You know, I was born before the Doomsday Clock was actually invented. Because it came as a result of the Cold War, the MAD theory, mutual assured destruction. And, well, I guess there's two ways you can look at this. You could say, well, all right, 2 minutes before zero. Or I kind of look at it, well, we got 120 seconds. So if it takes it this long just to get to this point, I don't know, if we play our cards right, maybe 120 seconds can be 120,000 years. Who knows? Anyway, just remember this. And who wants this job? And could you see on your resume? Well, Robin, what'd you do? Well, my last job was I was the timekeeper for the Doomsday Clock. Well, what happened? Well, ran out of time. I don't know. Anyway, there we go. What's going on with this, folks? So this is the Catholic News Agency. Irish priest asked for backup as demand for exorcisms rises exponentially. Now, they're not saying they're increasing. They're not saying they're multiplying. They're saying they are rising exponentially. Now, I don't know if I remember in my math, it goes up by greater of degrees, right? So what's happening in Ireland, folks? I got listeners over there. We got subscribers. We got community members in that area. What is going on with y'all folks over there? I mean, asking the country's bishops for more support after noticing a dramatic increase in demonic activity in the country. In a recent interview with the Irish Catholic, Father Pat Collins said he has been overwhelmed with the number of requests for exorcisms from the faithful in Ireland. In an open letter, he has urged the Irish bishops to train more priests to deal with the demand. It's only in recent years that the demand has risen exponentially, Collins told the Irish Catholic. Collins' comments are on par with those of other exorcists throughout the world, including the International Association of Exorcists. Time out. Time out. Are you telling me they have formed an actual association? And what do they have? An annual international convention? I mean, could you imagine this? Thousands of people from around the world coming together for an exorcisms conference. The International Association of Exorcists, a group of 400 Catholic leaders and priests, in which they're reporting a dramatic increase in demonic activity. Says in 2014, the levels of demonic activity throughout the world had reached what they considered a pastoral emergency. What the hell is going on here? I mean, yeah, I'm taking a lighthearted approach to this, but I don't know. I'm sure you have your opinion. I just find this very odd. And then, of course, you have Gordy Rose, who says that because of the D-Wave computer, we've opened up a portal, apparently, to the other world. That, what did he say? I'm trying to look for this. that we have opened up a portal where an overwhelming horde of demons are coming. I don't know. All right, all you folks out there on Rodeo Drive, seems that the movie Earthquake was right. There is a major fault underneath Beverly Hills. Well, you know, they're finding more and more faults all the time. There's a lot of people that find faults with me, but I'm just cracking up. But anyway, I digress. Yeah. So just something to remember as you're out there on Santa Monica Boulevard. Remember, you're cracking up underneath. All right. Now, this one, folks, is a strange story. How many of you have heard this one? So they had the big earthquake. I think they now said 7.9 hit Alaska. When it hit, it changed the water levels in Florida. Now, so I did a video on the book at Adorfa, and the smart, all of us caught it. You know, it's Aphrodite spelled backwards. But in that book, Llewellyn, who wrote the book, did a great job in what I think I find very curious in here. Because in that book, in which if you want the PDF, just email me and I'll get you the PDF. You can read the book. It's a great read. Everyone that has gotten it, I have not heard one complaint. Actually, I had a lot of people thank me over and over for it. This just shows exactly what the man that started it all was encountering with the faceless being. This is exactly what he gave in the mathematical theory of how, not the theory, they said this is how it works, but so you could see what happened. Now, I think it's also further evidence that shows that this earth of ours is really tilting. So there you go. Look at that. And if you just put the earth again as a sphere, you can see how this begins to work. I'm telling you, folks, we are witnessing, I dare say, this generation of this day, we will be what those in the future will be writing about. We lived through it. Well, I don't know. Let's hope we live through it. Maybe it's still this ever inching lava. Can't stop it. It doesn't move very fast, but one thing about it, it's persistent and it's steady. I don't know. All right. So let's connect the dots. We talked about AI with the Russians and the Chinese. Then we talked about Alexas, the devices, all the echoes being in our house, now entering our most private moments. Then we talked about the fact that outside, all the utilities, all the poles, everything got cameras, monitors, and everything else. Well, now the consumer is getting what the governments have already had for a long time: cameras, smartphones in the cameras that can see through walls. My. So, kiss your privacy goodbye. Bye, Felicia. There you go. So, the next year or two, Think about this. What kind of insanity is this going to bring? I mean, I'm seeing a nightmare scenario unfolding here. You got people that would use this for nefarious purposes. I mean, think about this. Strangers can walk by your house, look into your room. If you have children, they can look into their room. I mean, this is getting creepy. You put this technology on drones. I don't know. Think about this. I don't find this cool at all. I mean, I really don't. To me, this is like, I mean, our species, Homo sapiens, the races, we're an unbalanced group. I like what the X-Files had last week. You know, the Galactic Council sent down their representative and said, here's the book. Anything you want to know, it's in it. We're out of here. And we ain't coming back. And oh, by the way, you're in quarantine. You people are crazy. And there's no hope for you. And quite frankly, the alien races, they don't want anything to do with you either. So we're getting the hell out of here. Goodbye to you. Kiss our butts because we're gone. And you guys, you ain't going to make it anyway. I don't know. Think about this. What do you think? I can't say I'm not in the chat room, but seriously, this freaks me out. I mean, woof. Anyway, folks, figure that one out. Now, I love it when an article comes out after I've had a guest on the show. Dr. Albers, big high five, girls. You smart. We've been talking about this. And her white papers, the papers that she has written, and we're going to have her back on next Friday night. I'm excited about this. So look at this. Wrong way wins. The thing that they're finding out about Jupiter is that this is not a normal planet. And the more we find out about it, the more stranger it gets. So, Dr. Albers, way to go. All right, check this one out. Folks, seriously. This is a little robot. So I don't want to get hit with copyright, so I'll stop that. But here's the point. This little dude, it bends, it rolls, it's microscopic, very tiny. They're programming it now that they can actually inject it into the human body. It could begin to, for instance, with arterial sclerosis. All of you have it. I have it. It's unfortunately the thing about our species, the way we eat, particularly in the Western diet. You know, virtually the entire population suffers from arterial sclerosis. You have plaque building up in your blood vessels, some more than others. And, you know, by the way, the number one cause of death is heart attacks. All of us are going to die of a heart failure. Just put it in perspective. But this is where we're going with nanotechnology, folks. And it's getting that much smaller. All right, this is Star Wars all over again. Help me, Obi-Wan Kenobi. And this is what you can actually do with this. Now, I can imagine going through an airport with, let's say, I don't know, 100,000 people doing this. Yeah. But there you go. We're learning more and more about photons, aren't we? Yeah. Pretty strange stuff. All right. Talking about not knowing our past, complex engineering. Now, this is from The Guardian. And metalwork discovered beneath the ancient Greek pyramid. When the Titans were here, and they were, in many ways, we are them. We learned from them. I know it's another part of that whole thing. People just can't handle it. But we're finding more and more that the ancients, they're a pretty smart group. I mean, they really had their act together. So I just find this to be very interesting. What else are we going to find? Is, in fact, the throne room in the pyramid there, is that really going to be it? Listen, we have got to stop this nonsense. I pulled this up because of this. You know what? I don't know about you, but $1,000, I think is a good thing. I'm just saying, folks, stop the hate. Love the people. All right, this is getting weird. Robot exotic dancers are taking over the poles at Midtown Gentlemen's Club. What is going on here? I don't know. I keep on thinking something's not right. I don't know. All right. This is, I think, going to be an ever increasing problem as the Earth continues its tilt to whatever it's heading towards. Things under the Earth, like water, aqueducts, things that we don't see, things that we don't think about because we just turn the tap water on and we have water. You don't think about it. Not the fact that the stuff that you want to drink out of the tap is that good to begin with, but it's there. Well, here is a town in Cape Town, South Africa. They ran out of water, folks. Seriously. And apparently, it's not coming back. It went dry. Now, I don't know about you, but could you imagine your city where you live right now running out of water? Yeah, it becomes a real problem, doesn't it? Our Earth is changing. No doubt about it. Here's a story about the odd activity on the Ring of Fire. And as the Earth is continually to tilt, we would see this happening is part of our planet. I know I showed you in the one video what the Earth looks like without the water. Something's happening here, folks. Remember when I talked about how being environmentally conscious, because we all want clean water, right? We want our lakes to be pristine. Well, here's one of those boomerang effects. So Lake Michigan is absolutely the clearest it has ever been. Now, you would think that that would be great. Wrong. But in this case, it's not because of what nature was doing. It wasn't because man suddenly cleaned up his act. No, actually, it was probably because of man. It's actually the invasion of a mussel. Now, this mussel that has invaded Lake Michigan is what has absolutely killing the lake. You see these mussels right here? They are now so proliferated in Lake Michigan and spreading to the rest of the Great Lakes that they filter the entire lake 3-4 times a day. Well, the zooplankton can't live. And if you kill the plankton, it begins the food chain collapse. And this is what's happening. And all because of this. Oh, you get great clear water. But here's the problem. Algae, those type of biologicals in the water is what actually helps aquatic life. But not anymore. These mussels have absolutely are changing the dynamics of the lake. Very clear and pristine, but again, a dying lake. All right. This is from the Telegraph. Spermageddon. Why the human race could be infertile in 50 years. Well, folks, we thought that it was going to be because we blew ourselves up. Well, it just turns out that Wi-Fi was the one that did it to us. Did us in. This is their master plan. They didn't have to do it. They can killing us by what they're feeding us. But what they finally figured out is that if you kill the little guys, there ain't going to be no more other guys. And thus we have the story. So, what you think? Weird, huh? Get out of this. 230 people in here. Good Lord, I walk and just do a little thing and here, look what happened. Well, hey, y'all, how you doing? Good to see you. So there you go. Crazy, isn't it? I mean, you read the headlines and that's all I did. I mean, you got to admit at times it's just crazy. So I'd love to see what the comments were on the Exorcist. I mean, I guess that could be a whole new career, What college did you come from? Oh, Exorcist RS. What do you do? Well, we're in high demand. So what's the hourly rate? Well, the more we got to bust those ghosts, the higher the rate goes up, man. I don't know. It's just crazy. So I want to give a little bit of my background because I want to show you something here. In my career, I've had a lot of great clients, very well-known clients. And one of the ones that I enjoyed the most was the Smithsonian. They were a client of mine for about 2.5 years and did a lot of great work with them and got to know the curator, the Bob Decker. And I had the opportunity to see things in the Smithsonian that the general public doesn't get to see. And one of the things that I found fascinating is when I saw one of the large skeletons. I don't mean 8 foot tall. I don't mean 10 foot tall. The one that I saw was almost 20 foot tall. And it was a shock to me at the time. I mean, I like the Smithsonian because I like the Air and Space Museum. It was a great time. Also got to go through the National Gallery of Art at 6 o'clock in the morning when no one else was in there, just me and the guards. But anyway, so the giants were here. They lived. They ruled this planet. And a lot of controversy on that. They've done a good job, again, trying to erase the evidence, but we're learning more and more that they existed. And I'm going to did a story in the past in the Bloodline Invaders series, because in my video day, we did a film, a documentary on the giant that lived in Illinois. And it taught me something about our species. So we call it gargantuism. And that gene is even in all of us. And it's so odd that when you think at the same time that our genes, the genetics of who we are, that we can also have dwarfism. So we have this extreme in the genetic code of who we are. And when you look into this, the evidence is it's always been there. It's just that we couldn't handle the fact that this planet at one time was ruled by a race of beings that apparently man was subservient to. Now, whether that's where the Titans, the legends came from, I think it is. I think there's good evidence of that. But I also think that this was a time dating back potentially 1 million years ago. So, how long have I been here? Oh my goodness, it's almost an hour. I'm sorry. It's been a tremendous hour. But let me just show you real quick. So I won't go through the whole thing, but if you want to do it, go back, check out this video. So this was the story. I got into it. You ought to really check this out. It's a good review of how we know that this race of beings were here and how it's been basically a part of the lore, the mythology, the legends of these giants. And whether it was the Egyptians, whether it was the Mesopotamians, whether it was the Albers, it's all there. They've been here. And what am I doing here? I want to show you on this one. So were these the ones? What I often found weird, you ought to go watch this then. It was a good video. Is that in our Capitol building, we still have these gods. You know, many people think that America is founded on one particular religious view, but it's quite the opposite. They live all around us, as they say. It's like the great thing about when Hellenization took place, the Hellenizing of a culture, the reason why it was so adaptable to the conquered was that you don't have to be concerned about what God you're bringing in, what pantheon, because you're going to be basically assimilated. And this is what's happened even today. That assimilation has taken place. I mean, it's replete. These were, I believe, actual living beings. I mean, come on. That's one big foot. Look at that. So they existed. The lore, even in modern day. This is the Gandhar giant, the one that was killed in Afghanistan. U.S. military special ops took it down. Through all the races, this gene exists. How would you like to be the person with that samurai sword? I mean, seriously, folks, think about this. They said the earlier settlers knew the giants. This massacre that took place by, I believe this was in 1600s, they slaughtered them. And of course, this is Patagonia. So anyway, there you go. For what it's worth, right? Let me get out of here, folks. He says, as I try to get out of this. So there you go. What do you think? I'm just reading some of the comments. And by the way, that was a common trait of many of the giants, was the red hair. Even the ones down in Patagonia. So kind of weird. Makes you think, doesn't it? That it's in, and why wouldn't we interbreed with them? That's what I kept thinking. I think that us, all of us today, Deb, yeah, the documentary is in my archives, and it's under the Bloodline Invader series. And if you look over on the side, I actually have that as a grouping of videos, and it's part of that. So, but getting back to the point, it does appear that our species, we've interbred, I think, with a lot of other species. And I think that when that memory comes back, I don't know, maybe. I mean, there's a lot of stuff we're finding. The cave they found over in Siberia. Now they're finding artifacts dating back 400,000 years ago, foretelling of, by the way, I actually brought this out. Y'all really should. Great book. I recommend it. Graham Hancock's Magicians of the Gods. What we have found out and what we now know, our ancient ancestors warned our ancient ancestors about a comet coming apparently through the Sirius system. And as I'm reading, it happened. So does our species have the ability to foretell the future? And does it show up in the mythos of religion, cultures, foretelling of the future? I don't know. Apparently we seem to know that when something out of the cosmos is coming, which means that we look at our technology today, don't think we're all that smart. Think we've been here before. And I think what we're seeing now with all the technology, I don't know about you folks, but is it just me to think that someone could be walking down the street and have a camera that can look into my house, See through the walls? I don't like that. I don't. It's like, okay, what am I going to have to do? Put that lead line robe on? Oh, well, another hour is gone. I appreciate all of you folks. You're just great. I just got to think about this. Anyone that wants a copy of the PDF of Edidorfa, let me know. It's a good book. You'll enjoy the read. I also recommend, by the way, the Night World by F. Paul Wilson. I think we're going to be on tomorrow with Jeff. Isn't it odd how sometimes we refer ourselves as Pearl? But when I continue to do my mirror gazing exercises, I'm really realizing now there's more than one of us in each of us. It really is. How many of you have actually keep practicing that? I've got emails, by the way, of some of you who have written me, and I've read them, of the experiences you're having. Reading some of the comments on that. Wow. Woo. Okay. Some people just don't seem happy, but wow, Jinx Mojo, thank you. Thank you. That's very kind of you. Just to let you know, the donations are going into a fund, and I'm sending out microphones to new channels. And so have already got sent out one today, got 2 going out next week. So thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, we try to get the truth out. I don't know what the truth is sometimes. Yeah, I do. So I'll share a story with you. Back 16 years old, my first true construction job was working for a company called SF Sanders Concrete Construction. Outside, it was in Houston, and Mr. Sanders gave me a break. I lied about my age, said I was 18, and got a construction job, and $2 an hour. And he owned a commercial concrete company. We did all sorts of concrete work, but the specialty was building concrete warehouses. And I'm talking, we did one for Anheuser-Busch, 500,000 square feet. So I worked hard, worked at the time with a lot of different mixed ethnics. A lot of my friends were blacks. They accepted me as one of them. We worked hard, laboring at 16 years old and having to shovel concrete when it came out. That's hard work, folks. And I had long hair, and I actually had one foreman that was just a prick. He did not like hippies, and I didn't like rednecks. And I got sent out to one of his jobs, and I remember it was in November. Now, down in Texas, in Houston, back in the 70s, it got cold. And this guy puts me up on a 20-foot wall, and I'm having to chip out in the walls there. They had styrofoam that got covered with concrete when they poured it. And these is where eventually the steel beams would go for the ceiling. Well, he put me up there for like 6 hours, no ladder to get down anyway. But I did find favor with the owner. He was a very cool guy. And so what I'm going to tell you is an absolute. So this is truth for me. One of the great things I got really good on was a Bobcat. And they never checked for a driver's license. And the next thing I know, I'm driving a truck that has a kind of a flatbed in the back, pulling a trailer with a Bobcat. I'm 16 and a half years old. I look back on that and I'm thinking, good God, was a hazard. So in my brilliance, I would take the Bobcat and I'd go into, after everyone had left the job and they had basically covered the roof into the warehouse, I would go in with the Bobcat, tilt the front end of the front end bucket down and scrape the floor in these concrete warehouses. And I didn't have headphones back then, but I did have a radio, and I did have an FM radio. And so I'm playing music. Now, you'd stop the Bobcat. Anyway, I dropped some LSD one time and did that. I found out what truth was. So I'll leave it at that because, yeah. Life is good, folks, isn't it? It really is. I appreciate all of you. I really do. Y'all are just a lot of fun to be with. I hope it's been fun. Trust to be with Jeff tomorrow. So, got some good people coming on this week. Monday night, we're going to be working, have a young lady coming on. We're going to be talking about what being awake means. I mean, we all hear the term all the time. Well, he's awake or he's not awake. Well, what does that really mean? What does it mean to be aware? I don't know. I'm still aware of myself when I look in the mirror. I got to tell you, at times in the morning, I just crack myself up. I go, okay, how do I dress myself? Is we, I, me? Well, hey, love you, dude. Well, I got a name. Do I really have that name? Anyway. So Thursday night again, please check me out on the artistfirst.com network, the Steiger Perspective. This week, we're going to get into another discussion that I think is going to be interesting. I think we're going to really get into the discussion of what is our past. I mean, the more I look at this, I swear, folks, someone is screwing with us. I really do believe that. Talk about the greatest mind coitus ever. All right. Happy Saturday night to you. Be good to yourselves. Thank you. You're the best group. Appreciate the time. Thank you, moderators. You all are just a great gift. Thank you for the donation. That is very kind of you. At times, I don't know what to do with it. It's humbling to know that people just do that voluntarily. That's just, y'all are like, high five, man. High five. I can't read my palm either. Look at that. Anyone read palms? You're getting sleepy. Anyway. All right, folks. See you later. Take care of yourselves. I thank you for stopping by. Bye-bye.